Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? Yeah? All right, this is about PowerShell, just getting started. It's one tool to hack them all. And I'm going to first start off with, I don't know if you know who Ross Ulbricht is. He's in jail. He was running a thing called Silk Road, and I don't believe in Silk Road. I mean, it was a drug trafficking, and it had a lot of horrible things in it. And there's a lot of horrible things in what they call the deep web. But the thing I don't like is this guy was put in jail for life imprisonment, and he was just a volunteer for Silk Road, and it just seems like I think he got railroaded. So anyway, this is about helping with a fundraiser to free him. And my name is Michael Wharton. I'm a project MVP. And most of what I do is with Microsoft Project Server. But for the past 10 years, all my installations and configurations have been done using PowerShell. And the thing about PowerShell, I just really have gotten to love the tool. It's just so much fun. And I think those of you who have used it probably feel the same way. And a little bit more about me is I play a really cool game called Android Netrunner. Anybody heard of that? It's a card game. It's a hackers against a corporation. If you like hacking, you might check into that game. And then I like comic books, and one of my favorite comic books is this one in the middle called Hacktivist. And if you read comics, you may want to check that one out. And then this next slide is just a little bit of my hardware. I love hardware. I got 6 monitors on one PC. But the real cool thing is last week I got servers, these old used servers I buy, but for $15.
Hi folks, Iron Geek here. Unfortunately, part of the video rig froze up and we lost audio and the speakers movement until just a little bit before the 20-minute mark. So if you fast forward to there, you should be able to get audio. In the meantime, the slides will continue. Sorry about the difficulties.
I've been able to execute change the security policy, but every once in a while I'll go to a customer site and they'll hear bad things about PowerShell and they'll turn it off. And the way I know it is because I'm trying to up the security and it's saying nope. So, and when that happens, then I have to do everything by hand. It slows me up. But that's just because people don't fully understand PowerShell and they get real nervous and they just turn things off. The other thing is PowerShell works like a programming language. You know, in a programming language, you have variables, and you take something and you push it in variables. And you can push strings in there, or integers, or any kind of objects. So you have variables and functions and arrays, again, very much like a programming language, and you can set up constants. And then the other things you do is you'll create new objects, right to the console for output to give you feedback. So all this information, most of this information I'm telling you about is on a website called PowerShell.org. In fact, they've got like 6 or 7 excellent white papers that just kind of spell out everything. Now, I love the white papers, but you're probably like me. I like a good book too. And at the end I have some references some of the books that I look at. And on the books, if I'm doing PowerShell for SQL, I might reference my SQL PowerShell book. PowerShell does looping, nested loops. So it's really just a programming language. Well, it's not a programming language, but it has all the capabilities of a programming language. You can read files. I've seen people where they'll take let's say they're an AD manager, Active Directory manager, and they have to add like 100 accounts. They may put all those accounts in a Excel file and then pump it into a PowerShell script and then have the script create all the accounts. So here's what I was talking about earlier. So this is PowerShell, and you type get help, and it's going to give you all kind of help about, if you type get help on help, it's just going to give you help on that. But what's more useful is when you get help and then provide it a name. And if you look in this example, I do a get help on get service. It tells me the service name, gives it maybe a little abstract about it, how it works. It shows me different syntaxes, description, related links. That helps a lot, but my number one get help is really get help examples. This is what really gets me going, because when I do a get help, in this case, like for services, it had like 10 different examples, but I can just look at that example and I can almost, in my examples, have what I need in the format it needs to be. And that's what they're showing here. They're doing a get service, which throws all the services out. I do a get service space WMI star, and I see I'm just going to get the services that start with an WMI. And then earlier I was telling you about the get member. Well, there's a lot of methods and properties associated with the get service. And so if I do a get service and pipe that into the get member, I can then see all the services and methods that are associated with the get service. I've got a close, a continue, a diagnose for different methods, and then I see all the different properties. And often I'll take that get service and basically pipe it into a where object, and the where object is just another way of taking the information and filtering it. Here I'm filtering it with this $_ status, where the status doesn't equal to stop. And so if I look at this full function, I see all the all the get services that start with S, and then I see all of those that are still running, which are listed. So again, like in Linux, you can pipe get results, pipe those results into another object, and keep piping them until you get what you want. So you're basically creating tools that are going to help you with your job. And again, it's probably going to be something you do, some kind of routine task that you want automated. So in this example, we're doing a get service. It's going to list all the services that start with S. I'm going to do a where object status not equal to stop. And also, when you're doing this within the ISC, IntelliSense is also enabled. And with IntelliSense, it's going to prompt me or show me a lot of the different answers that I can have. For instance, if I put status and put space .ne, well, actually, if I put status space and hit with the dash, it's going to give me all the conditional operators that I can use, and I can pick out which one I need, like EQ for equal, NE for not equal. Comments. There's two ways to comment. I always like to put good comments in my scripts. You have a script block, which you use a less than and a pound sign, and then in the format we use is we'll have .author. Now, .author is not a reserved word. It's just a convention we use to indicate this is the author. So we can just kind of create any kind of words we want, put dot in it to show that it's some kind of convention to follow. And so I've got a script here, and then to close the script, I'll have a pound sign greater than symbol. Now, the other way of doing comments is using the pound sign. So there's a lot of functionalities and features in PowerShell, but if you want more additional features, you have to extend it. And when you do extend it, you'll use something like an add-in to extend it. And an add-in would look like, well, these are all the different kind of add-ins that you may be using, and we saw this list earlier. And then in some of the tools that Microsoft offers, like the SharePoint 2016, they'll have something you can click on that starts up PowerShell and puts that add-in into it automatically. Anyway, in this example of putting a SharePoint add-in, the command is called add.snapin, and then you're going to give it the DLL. In this case, it's Microsoft.SharePoint.PowerShell, and so that adds all the features or extends PowerShell for all the SharePoint extensions. The example I have below it is a get PS snapping, where I'm just kind of looking first. I mean, I just typically just add it in there and let it run. But in a good programming practice, you may want to test it first and then execute it. And if it's added properly, if you look down, you see like a get SP farm. If that SharePoint extension was put in there properly, the get SP farm is going to give me return results. If it doesn't return results, I probably didn't install it properly. So SharePoint is a great tool for hacking. It'll improve your skill as an IT pro. It's Microsoft's direction as one of the preferred tools to use. It's going to help you with the automation. It's just going to do a lot for you as you learn this tool. And I mentioned earlier there's different references. Lee Holmes up front, he wrote the Windows Shell PowerShell cookbook. I refer to that all the time. If I was a developer, I might look at the PowerShell book for developers. It has scripts in there for moving things out of QA into production, or all the different kind of automation that you may want in the development world. There's a PowerShell book on SharePoint. There's probably PowerShell books on pen testing. In fact, I've already went to a few sessions where the speakers were talking about how they use PowerShell scripts to do some of the things that they were testing for. There's good books on network administration. So a lot of good books on got a lot of good books on PowerShell. But wait, there's more. This is the one I really like. There's the PowerShell games. Anybody heard of the PowerShell games? Nobody, huh? That's that exciting. Well, it really is. I guarantee you, probably in most of the communities, if you live in a big city, there's probably a PowerShell user group. And if you go to like a meetup, you might find it in your area. And what they do in the PowerShell games, a bunch of PowerShell heads will get together, and they'll throw out a problem, and you'll see how fast you can solve it. Now, some people will, they'll solve it real fast in 2 or 3 minutes, and some people will do it in 10 minutes. But it doesn't matter if you're fast or slow. After everybody's finished, or after 15 minutes, you discuss how you did your PowerShell script, and you start learning how other people are thinking. I mean, the person did it fast. It might have been the best way, but then you hear someone else saying, I approached it this way. And when you look how they approached it, that may make more sense to you. But it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot, and again, you get into it's all about PowerShell. I speak a lot on PowerShell at other groups, SharePoint user groups, that they love to hear about PowerShell and SQL. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's the meetups. So that's all I had. Do we have any questions? I know about the remoting, but I'm not familiar with. Can you say anything about that, Lee? Thank you. Any other questions? You would have to do the add-in first, and then if you did the get help, you would get help on those add-ins. Anything else? Well, thanks for coming out.